To go to start.
You're good.
Good evening, Lunenburg. My name is Brent Ramsden. I'm the Vice Chair of the Lunenburg Sewer Commission. And we are going to start our meeting a little late this evening at 6:07 p.m. We're going to start the meeting as we do every meeting with a pledge of allegiance to the flag in Bill Bernard's hand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. All right, then. I need to start by saying, in accordance with the requirements of open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting of the Sewer Commission is being recorded and will be able to be found on the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel after the meeting. The following information is to be provided for members of the public that would like to participate in the meeting remotely. To participate remotely from a computer, please use the link to join the public meeting webinar found on the posted agenda, or from a telephone, dial a toll-free number 888-475-4499 and enter the webinar ID number 831-8724-9940. If you have not registered with Zoom, you will be asked for your name and email address. Note that there is no participant ID needed. Just press pound when asked. I will do a roll call vote of all members, and I'm going to start with Joseph Hurley.
I'm here.
And Scott Dahl.
Here.
Dan Proctor.
Here.
And Arthur Kettis.
Here.
Did I say that correctly, sir?
Yes.
Excellent. And then I'm going to do a roll call vote as well for the staff. Bill Bernard.
I'm here.
Andrew Villery.
I'm here.
And Jane Ranley, please.
Here.
Thank you all. We're going to move right into public comments. If there's, is there any public there, Bill? Let's see.
There is no public on the meeting tonight.
All right. I'd like to ask if there's any public comment from the commissioners. Feel free to chime in, or staff.
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment. I want to thank Scott for running again, or running for the first time, and for Joe for getting back on and sticking around as long as he can. I appreciate it. And big welcome to our new members, Dan and Art. We appreciate you jumping on, and makes everybody's job a little bit easier. And we appreciate, having a full commission and having different ideas. And I'm very happy about this. Thank you.
You're welcome. I concur.
I concur with all of that. Thank you, everybody. And Joe, great job making it to the town hall before they closed. Very impressive. And very good. All right, if there's no other announcements, I guess we'll move into the current business. That starts with the commission reorganization. We definitely want to welcome, Dan and Arthur, and of course, Joseph Hurley for staying on as long as possible. And I believe, Andrew, if you could help me out here. Is this a meeting when we're not supposed to vote for appointments or anything, right? Because it does say reorganization.
Yeah, no, it's just kind of
Yeah.
regular. We're just talking, discussing. You're still chair, and everyone, everyone here is new. We have two new people, and Joe again.
And moving forward, not that I shouldn't know this. What is the date? There must be a date coming up. Was it early July that we choose new officers and so forth, or is it June?
Nope, that's right now.
Oh, that's right now.
The organization, yep.
Oh, okay. That's what I was getting at.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, with that in mind, I don't believe there's been any previous discussion. So does that mean these votes need to happen tonight, Bill?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
So you should ask for nominations for chair, co-chair, and clerk.
I
Very
would
good.
I would nominate Brett Ramsden for chair.
I would second that nomination.
Thank you, gentlemen. Well, I am open to that. Is there any other nominations to be presented? I suppose I'm the logical choice, regardless whether my brain works or not. And
Well, Joe, we still have the three positions, right? Chair, vice chair, and
clerk,
what was I, clerk? Yeah.
you were clerk. Yep. I also nominate, I'm gonna make a nomination for vice chair of Scott Dahl.
Second that.
Heard that?
Thank you.
Are you on board with that? Because you don't have to accept it, sir.
I, like you said, I'm fine with that, and I'm sure I can fill your big shoes of former advice.
All right. Would anybody like to make a nomination for clerk?
Yeah, Joe, you want it?
It would just create extra work for you to replace me in a couple months.
We'd have to have a special town election.
Um,
Any of the, I just put it out there. Do any of the new commission members have any interest? I will say, as I served for about 8 months as clerk, I don't think I had to do anything. As a matter of fact, I didn't remember it was called clerk. So is anybody would like the nomination? Let us know.
Yeah,
Well-
Jane is kind enough to take all of our notes for us, so that is generally the official job
Correct.
of the role. So, assuming
I was going to say that, yeah, that Jean is incredibly doing all that work incredibly well for us, and we're very, very glad to have her.
Yep.
So the clerk's position is really just a name, a title to have.
Yeah, I suppose if the chair and the vice chair weren't available, the clerk would have to step up to run the meeting, right?
Yeah, I suppose that's true, yeah.
So I guess, yeah.
There would still have to be 3 members. Well, there
You-
could be now. Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I don't know. Bill or Andrew could answer that. I don't know. Can you have a meeting with just 2? You just can't vote without the quorum, or you can't meet without the quorum?
You can't meet without 3.
Right. Quorum is 3, so if the chair and vice chair aren't there, then we could still meet.
Okay.
Yeah, Very
I
good.
certainly can help out with the clerk if Jane helps me through it. And does all-
that's the attitude,
There we
Dan.
go. You
I
took
was
a
about
little
2 seconds
coercive.
away from. I was 2 seconds away from nominating you,
I
Mr.
figured,
Yeah,
I
I
figured
was-
that, so I always learn, step forward.
I will, I'd like to nominate Dan Proctor for clerk.
I'll second that nomination.
There we go.
All right. Wow. That wasn't so hard. Okay, I suppose we should vote. I guess we'll start with the chair position. There's been a nomination for Brett Ramsden and seconded to be elected as chair. I'm going to make a roll call vote, not a roll call vote, a vote for yay or nay. I'm going to start with Joe Hurley, please.
Is it yay or aye?
I thought we were high.
You can just say,
Aye.
aye.
Yeah.
There you go. And Scott Dahl,
Aye.
Dan Proctor,
Aye.
and Arthur Kettis.
Aye.
Excellent. Your first vote, sir, and Dan.
Thank you. My
Well
honor.
done. Well, the motion passes. You're stuck with me. So moving on, we'll do a vote for the vice chair. And Scott Dahl has been nominated and seconded. And now we're going to do the vote. Arthur
Aye.
and Joe.
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
and Scott Dahl. Can you vote?
Do
Yeah,
I
of course you can.
vote- Do I vote for myself? No.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
and I for myself.
I
So
was gonna
it's
say maybe I should abstain.
you look a little bit short on the picture.
Yeah, new computer. I'm messing with the camera angles.
Excellent. All right, so last one would be the clerk's position. Dan Proctor's been nominated and seconded, and we're going to do that vote. We'll start with Scott Dahl,
Aye.
Dan Proctor,
Aye.
and Joe Hurley,
Aye.
and Arthur Caddis.
Aye.
All right, we have new officers in place. We have a full commission for the first time in quite a while. We're going to call this a very good meeting right there. So let's see now. Thank you all very much. Looking down at something here first. One moment, gentlemen. I wanted to, before we go further into the current business, I don't see it on here, but I did want to take a moment and thank Andrew for putting together that letter. Obviously, you did a great job. You got the interest out there, and so we have to thank you for that and getting that done. So thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Our next section is the DPW sewer business manager updates. We're going to start with the Dana Street repairs. I understand estimates have been sent to the DPW. Bill, do you have more?
Yeah, so the Dana Street Pump House, for the new members who may not know, that's our main pump station. So almost all the waste in town goes through there at some point. So the force main, where it goes out of the station, the pipes are they're in pretty bad shape. They're steel pipes, so they've rotted out pretty good. So we're in danger of a failure. So we got an estimate to have those replaced, and we're going to use our current contractor that does our maintenance. Right, that's Chad Empey is the name of the company. They're hiring a subcontractor, Pride Environmental, to do the work. So the cost estimate is $123,000.6. So quite expensive. But for a comparison, we did the same work at the Mass One pump station, slightly different, but the force main work there was $88,000. So a little bit more here at Dana Street. Although the cost at Mass One, we had to hire pump trucks to pump the sewer, right? Because the sewage is still coming into the station. So we had to pump out the well and then truck it somewhere else and dump it. So I didn't grab the cost for that. But Andrew, do you remember it was about $10,000, wasn't it?
Yeah, a little bit more than that, I would think. Yeah.
Yeah. So in this case at Dana Street, they figured out a way where they can reroute within the station using a bypass. So there is a bypass there, but there is issues with the pipes in the bypass. So they have to do some excavation and check that, make sure everything's okay. So the cost is a little bit more, $123,000 as opposed to it was almost $100,000 for the other repair.
Okay. So another
So
question?
hopefully that work's going to be done in the next month or so. They haven't given us a start date. They estimated 5 to 7 days to do all the work.
So that additional cost, it's primarily because of this bypass pipe.
Yeah, they have to do some work there to get that hooked up and working. But we don't have to have pump trucks this time.
Yeah.
Right? The last time we had to have the pumpers there standing by. And
Are these pipes of similar size kind of thing or?
Yep, they're the same size as Mass One. Yep.
Okay. Hmm. Well, I suppose, I mean, we could consider, we know we can depend on these people, which is a big thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep,
Um,
they did the other repair. They did a good job.
Yeah.
We did
Yeah.
anticipate this. Last year, the commission added enough money into the capital line item to make this repair, so that money is there. So we will,
There is still enough to cover this larger repair? Okay.
There is, yep.
Okay. And I suppose too, I just wanted to talk it out a little bit and, pros and cons. Also, should that pressure line go, I mean, how many pump trucks are we talking? Because people aren't going to stop using their bathrooms during
Yeah.
the repair. I don't even want to think about what kind of mess we'd be looking at there. We don't need a new river in town.
Right. So yeah. So it would be costly. Potentially could do a lot of harm to the environment. There is running water right next to it. There's a certain business owner right next door that wouldn't be too happy about it.
Yeah,
And-
that's true. Someone's
Mhm.
excavation business would become quite stinky.
Yes.
And it could
Yeah,
slow
so
down the ability for
Yeah.
his car wash to function too. We wouldn't want that.
That's right. So anytime you run into, emergency work, it's always more expensive than
Far
scheduled.
more expensive. Yeah.
Mhm.
We'd probably be looking at double the cost.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
Clark, what is the distance, Bill? Like, are they replacing all of Dana Street? How long is that line?
Just the force main, it's actually just within the station, so maybe only 40 feet of pipe, something like
Okay.
that.
Yep.
It's a big cost, but just to get set up and to do the work,
Yeah.
and it's
No, I
yeah,
understand.
it adds up quick.
Yep.
I want to spend extra money, but while they have the thing excavated, is there stuff that's at like 90% of its useful life or anything coming up on it? If most of the expense is the excavation and bypass, is there other work that we should have them do while it's open?
Nope, this as part of that repair, there's nothing else that needs to be done.
Okay.
so is this kind of following up with our surprises on Mass One where the cutoffs didn't work once they got down there?
Yeah,
We're
so
basically looking
yeah,
at the same thing, right?
right. So they got to, look at that first and get the bypass set up. Check the pipes for that. So
Is
a little
this
But
bit
something,
more.
this is the one we were talking about that was scheduled up next.
That's
That we
correct.
talked about last year when we were taking care of Mass One.
Correct.
Okay, so yeah, we did allocate some extra funds just to cover this, so that's good. I know the budget was approved, so
If I may, gentlemen,
Yes.
the bypass, once it's fixed, is that gonna be something the town's gonna be able to use again, or are they gonna have to come and charge again to make it work again?
Well, it should be usable going forward. Yeah, once
Yeah.
they repair it, it should be good.
And,
Another thing I didn't mention is the station is over 20 years old and it has a 25-year design life. So we're
Oh.
right at the end of the
You're
design.
not-
yeah, and there's warranty to the work, they offer warranty, they come back, or?
Nothing in writing.
If they don't, if it fails within, a certain time frame, are they responsible to come back?
Yeah, that's
is-
a good question. Let me see if they put anything in writing on that. No, they didn't put anything in writing.
I mean, at that price, it's full
Hmm.
price. I know it's emergency, but maybe we can get a warranty, maybe 90 days or something, or a year.
well, is
So-
this just strictly the excavation replacement of that 40 feet of pipe, or is the cutoffs no good again, or?
Let's see.
Sorry, but I didn't.
Yeah, that's
see
okay.
this.
So I'm just reading the the quote, it says they're gonna set up the bypass pumping system.
Oh, there's a
Uh,
pump involved with the bypass?
No, within the bypass pumps. Yes, right. It says once the bypass is set up and tested, they'll enter the tank, they'll set up staging. And supports for the pipe that's in there. Once that's all in place, they'll cut out the piping and reinstall. They have to put a new flange to come from the side of the pumps through the floor, so that they have to cut out the flooring at Mass 1 to put in that new flange. So they got to do that again. Yeah.
Is it slated for overnight work?
Nope, nope. They can just 5 regular days, 5 to 7 regular days.
So is this something we need to vote on, sir?
I think we already did with the budget, right?
It's in the budget. anyway.
Not specifically, but it's probably a good idea to vote on it. Yeah.
It's a
I mean,
expenditure, but
basic maintenance and stuff, we certainly don't, and repairs, I mean, this does fall under repairs. we don't really have-
Yeah.
Bill, real quick, I don't know if you recall last year when we were talking about, and Dan's gonna know more about this than I am, but when we talked about the cutoffs failing, the 2 cutoffs at Mass 1, and we said when their next contract comes up, could they add that as part of the PM to exercise those cutoffs? Is this something that would fall under that too, that we might have to, look at, just to have them exercise once a year when they do their regular PM maintenance? Talking about our existing company.
Yeah, definitely. We should add it in to the next
Yeah,
contract.
I mean, I don't think it's gonna be that big a line item, but yeah, if
No.
they're already doing the maintenance, it's, and I know they were near the end of their useful life, but we might have got a couple more years out of them if they were open and closed, besides, like you said, we didn't want to find out with Mass 1 during an emergency that the cutoffs didn't work.
Right.
Because that would have tripled the cost. So I was just putting that out there as a note.
Duly noted.
All right, well, let's vote on it anyway, whether we have to or not.
Mhm.
Can I get a,
I mean, is this to approve the work? Is this to approve the quote? Like, how do we want to word this? Approval to move
Please.
forward? I mean, it seems like it's emergency work anyway, so
yeah.
how do we want to
probably
word
don't need to
this?
vote on this at all. It needs to happen, period.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So basically, make a motion to approve the emergency work that needs to be done on this.
How about,
Prevent,
how about we address some of the points that we made about it, about what Scott said about the warranty, and we just make those concerns that we vote on to get answers about.
If we do that, then we're delaying the process.
yeah,
Where it's an emergency concern, it's gonna be, whatever, just exponentially more expensive if this thing ruptures in more of an issue of this service disruption.
Sure.
never mind the mess.
But yeah, and then we have environmental concerns, and I mean, I would say we just have to take a vote to
Can we
Bill-
vote on it,
Bill move.
but
like-
just say that we'll ask them about a warranty, like, and make the vote pending that satisfies the timeline and the concerns. It can't hurt to
Because
ask.
my concern is only gonna come up when when the bidding contract comes back up again for the, maintenance company, you know what I mean? So I was just putting that out there as a note. Arthur's is wording in there, I mean, are we by telling them to go ahead, are we entering into a binding contract of how it's invoiced or quoted?
Well, they didn't give us a start date, right? So why don't we just bring it up to them and say, before you guys start, can you guys address this? Don't change the stop date, just address this and tell us if you're gonna give us a warranty. We'd like to know, that's all.
I'm
And
not
not
sure they can.
Tie into anything, just say, hey, can you guys, tell us if we're getting a warranty? That's all.
Well, I would also throw in, Bill can definitely comment on this, or Andrew for that matter. This is these guys have been really good to us in the town. I don't think that even if, they misinstalled something, I think they would make every effort to correct it and fairly quickly. They've been really responsive and responsible with us. So I don't want to, I just don't want to get into a situation where it becomes emergency work more than it already is.
Yeah, I don't know if what I said, I didn't mean that I wanted to make the agreement with the repair company contingent on asking them for a warranty. Just note that we were going to, they don't know that we had this vote, right? You know what I mean? Like, we could just ask them what their policy is on
You should, maybe we make
guaranteed work.
the motion to accept the quote and to move forward with the work, and then we can revisit as a side note of what would happen if the new work failed. What would be the company's responsibility? In the end, it's just a subcontractor, so it would be on our regular maintenance guys that are subbing it out.
And they're gonna be there making sure it's done right.
Correct.
And all these people have done this before, so.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, this is their specialty. That's why they're going with the sub. That's
Right.
what they specialize in.
and you're comfortable with the sub?
I am, yes.
I mean, all that being said, I would make a motion to accept the quote and move forward to at least schedule the work before it becomes an issue.
I'll second
All right.
that.
All right, we have, it's been first and second. I'm gonna make a vote. Start with a vote. I'm gonna start with Scott Dahl
Aye.
and Joe Hurley,
Aye.
Dan Proctor,
Aye.
and Arthur,
Hi,
and I for myself. Motion carries. And the work can proceed. And maybe we can leave it as maybe Bill or Andrew could maybe throw the question out there and see if there is any kind of guarantee, if you will, or standing behind it if it breaks. But like
Yeah,
Scott
I mean,
said,
it's
they're
almost-
likely to do so. So
It's almost a what if,
Yeah.
scenario.
we also don't want to question their abilities either while we're doing it.
Yeah, so that's why I was deferring to Bill on that. If if he
Well,
knows,
the Bill work is
Mhm.
uses magic wording.
yeah.
Yeah, so next meeting, I'll give you an update on warranty or what their response would be.
Sure. All right then. So we're all set with Dana Street repairs. Let's talk about the supplemental billing, fourth quarter, FY25. Andrew, would you have any updates there?
Not really. The billing went out. We've had some questions, but it's been straightforward, and we've received checks on them. So I think it worked out well in that aspect. It's with our note insert, and then our other mailing. So not a lot of questions. Some questions, but nothing crazy.
We may have to just kind of, not to make the meeting long, but rehash just what happened, just for the new members, since there were grumblings at town meetings. And stuff
So
like that.
our Munis system calculated our rates from 2022 which I've never seen before. So when I was doing the bill run, they reverted back to 2022 rates, and I noticed why am I getting a 115 rate on my minimum bills? And then I looked and I'm like, oh, our sewer rates weren't there in the system for some reason. I don't know how that happened. No idea. So I actually had to get our consultant that helped build the system try to work with me. I tried to figure it out on my own first. And I thought I did. And then the consultant said, yeah, that looks good. Looks good. So I thought I was in the clear when I got the rates to, oh, they jumped back up to the regular 133. So that I thought that calculated everything else normally. But unfortunately, that did not happen with any bill that was over a minimum. So we had to send out supplemental billing because a lot of people are they got bills that were actually less than what they should have been. So that was unfortunate, but we got it to work. Knock on wood.
And Dan and Scott are saying, damn, I thought I was gonna have to be able to pay less on this round.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting point. I mean, do we know, have all the updated rates been to all the customers? In other
Yep.
words,
Everything's been updated in the system. Nothing should ever be deleted. So unfortunately, because it creates a havoc when things happen in the system. So things should, we've made sure that everything is left as is. And moving forward, that shouldn't happen. And to be honest with you, having a second, we have an assistant moving forward. So hopefully, we can make sure, like I said, because there's a lot of attention to detail when it comes to Munis. So we'll make sure that this next bill run we won't have as many issues, hopefully, as possible. Because that's I'm committed, and that's what I'm committed to for the town. So do my utmost best with that.
Right. And then the town just updated to the latest version of Munis. That just happened over the weekend. So hopefully going forward, things will work better.
And hopefully you recognized it when you saw it.
Yeah.
There wasn't too many changes.
Yes. So Andrew does a lot of checking, but now he knows one more thing to check. And like he said, he has a helper now. So more eyes on it. So we should be able to catch most of the errors before anything goes out to the public.
Sounds like we're heading in the right direction, folks. That's good. Right. We like that. All right, I'm going to move on to the manhole repairs, IFB. Just looking for a quick update, Bill.
Yep. So just for the benefit of the new members, the sewer commission got $100,000 worth of the ARPA money. So we put together a contract to make manhole repairs, sewer manhole repairs. We focused on manholes that have been identified that are allowing I&I infiltration and inflow. So that's clean water somehow sneaking into the system. So that clean water we send off with the dirty water, right? And it gets clean. So we're paying for that, or the customers are paying for that. So we targeted the manholes that have been identified as letting this clean water in to make repairs. So we went out to bid. The low bidder was a company called In Situ Form Technologies. They do a lot of this work. They've been a little bit unresponsive. We set up a pre-construction meeting. They sent out a project manager, and he said, "Yep, we're going to hit the ground running in June." So I said, "Well, I need all your submittals," and we didn't hear anything. So I reached out to them again, and they said, "Oh, we changed project managers. You'll be hearing from him soon," and we haven't heard from him yet. So I reached out to him again today. Haven't responded yet. Not, it's concerning. I'm not too worried about it. There's plenty of time in the contract. They're a big company, so we'll see how it goes from here. But I'll stay on them, get the ball rolling on this.
All right. Thank you, Bill.
Mhm.
Very good.
Brett, excuse me.
Was there a
Sorry.
question?
I just had a question for Bill. Where did you say that money came from?
So there's $100,000 from ARPA, right? The federal money,
Yep.
and the cost of the contract is 140,000. So the other 40,000 is coming out of our budget.
Okay, great,
Mhm.
thank you.
You're welcome.
And then apparently we have to, oh yeah, we wanted to talk about the quarterly demands. I'm gonna ask Andrew about that one.
So I just wanted to bring that up because I know it's almost time for us to do them. So I will be working on those more so in the next couple of weeks. So hopefully we can get those out again. And I know another bill, but
Yeah.
you know we have to get them out. So
Yeah. And what
Well-
percentage are we at? If you know.
I mean, I would estimate right now. I mean, probably about the same between 27 to 29%. I mean, there are some people. It's not everyone, but we have some people. Some bills that are very high, little much that I've seen. I would say about 29% now.
I don't pretend to know the legalities of the stuff that's in arrears or whatever, but at what point does it get turned over to be attached to their property?
I think it does every year in December, right, Bill? Yeah, every year.
Right.
Yeah, but
After
what
1
I'm
year.
saying is, how far past due do they have to be for that to happen? Is it
1 year.
36 months?
1 year.
Oh, it's 1 year delinquent? Okay.
That's a lot of catching up.
Yeah.
Oh, yep,
Yeah.
sure is.
All right. Well, all right. Moving right along. So let's hear about this new assistant business manager position. So have they started?
Yep, Susan started today.
Wonderful.
Oh, great.
So, you know, getting her set up, you know, computer wise, and you know, program wise, you know, kind of what we do, you know, on a daily basis. So there's more to go. So hopefully tomorrow we can fully get the laptop set up fully with everything that I have, and then kind of go and shadow me with everything that I do, and kind of learn from there, because it's a learning process as well, and I'm still learning. So.
Oh, it's going to take some time. And like you said, you're still learning. So that's
Yeah.
understandable.
And there's plenty of work to do.
Yeah.
We came up with a new project today. So
Yeah.
Excellent.
yeah.
Very good. Very good. Well, gentlemen, we're at the bottom of the list. We're already here to talk about future agenda items. So if we head back to the start, well, we're reorganized. We're going to want to probably keep an update, have Dana Street up there to talk about where that's going, whether there's anything to report or not. Don't know if we need the supplemental billing in there anymore.
No.
And maybe an update on manhole repairs.
Yep.
Boy, that's not a whole lot. There's got to be more going on here, gentlemen. Andrew?
There is. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hold up.
Talk to me.
So next meeting we will have to approve of well, select board. Our last meeting, unfortunately, I was under the impression that select board, excuse me, that's my cat, would the meeting was going to be recorded. So I had to come up with minutes in
Right, of course.
my memory. So we'll probably have to vote on that next meeting, as
Okay.
long as the select board has approved of it as well. So that's going to be another
And of course, anything else that comes up between here and then, gentlemen.
probably.
You guys do a great job. We appreciate it. All right, great. there's a question about old business, but I'm not sure we have any to talk about. We've covered everything I can think of. Anybody?
Maybe we
All right.
should get a name for point of contact for that new project manager so we can contact him. Let's see if they even got a name.
Yes, I have a name and I sent them an email today. And if I don't hear soon, I'll just keep blasting with emails. I'll check to see if there was a phone number associated with it on that email. I'm not sure that there was.
All right. And is there any public comment? There's no public, of course. Is there any comment from commissioners or staff before we call it?
Just real quick, obviously when I leave, you'll be back down to fourth. If somebody presents themselves before I'm done, you know, and just to spare you the awkwardness of saying, "Hey Joe, would you step down or something?" If somebody wants to come on board, you know, I'm willing to step aside whenever it's convenient if we find a replacement. So if we could just throw that out there, happy to keep coming until I leave, or if somebody wants to take my place, then whenever that is, just let me know.
We
I mean,
appreciate your thinking.
if Dan or Arthur, you know, they're more dug into the town than I was, but I was able to get one. So, you know, if you guys know anyone that wants to spend, you know, a couple hours a month, hanging out with Bill and the DPW and then with us on Zoom, just have them fill out that same application.
Sounds good. I do have a question, Mr. Chairman. Like, what kind of information can I get to bring me up to speed on a lot of the things that the sewer department has been going through over the last, you know, 1 or 2 years? I mean, can I go have a conversation with Bill at the sewer department, or is that a conflict? Or I just curious how I can, you know, rather than dull you guys with, you know, 4 hours of trying to bring me up to speed type of thing. Cause I am interested in a lot of it and I just would love to get up to speed, you know, quickly. Like this whole project on Dana Street, you know, obviously I'm gonna butter. If there's, I can stick my nose in that building and see some things, then it just makes it easier for me to have, you know, conversations about certain things. Is that allowable or is that a conflict or how does that work?
Actually, Dan, that's a great question. From what last I knew, there's no conflict at all. You're welcome to talk to Andrew or Bill and pick their brains about what has happened in the
Okay.
recent past and what we're looking at in the future. Some stuff that we've been up against with research and everything else with our labs that we've done some analysis with. It's quite a bit of information if you're interested, but yeah, by all means.
Okay.
And Brett, wasn't, and I know you know, and Bill knows, wasn't the previous or 2 chairs ago, like really ingrained and would show up to sites and everything too, was
Oh yeah.
knew all
We're all
the
welcome to.
stuff. And so that wasn't anything that, at least I got the impression, that was frowned upon or anything. So
Not at all.
we just can't
Yeah.
discuss it as a group, right? Is that what the, you know, state bylaws are, or what, you know, we just can't have an off camera or off site, you know, group meeting without the public, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right, like I'm not gonna go to Dana Street and start telling the subcontractor what to do. That's not what I want to do. Go ahead and place that
Well,
pipe.
hey, look, if they're doing it wrong, maybe you should.
Yeah,
You might
no,
want to.
I just, again, I just want to learn, you know, I want to see what's going on. And then that way I feel like, you know, same
Well,
thing.
like
with
you said, you
conversations
have,
with Bill and Andrew and stuff. And, you know, like I've heard a lot about all the problems we have with water infiltration, what you were just talking about with the
Yeah.
manhole repairs and that type of stuff. And I just, you know, curious what we can do proactively to, you know, try to mitigate some of those problems. So, anyhow,
Yep.
okay.
Yep, come on down, we can
Yeah.
talk.
Good.
And Dan, another suggestion is you could always look at the minutes from the meetings.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, they're all posted on the town website. And shout out to Jane. Jane does a
Yeah,
great job.
Jane does a great job on
Thank you,
the,
Jane.
on the minutes.
Okay. I appreciate that.
All right, very good. Excellent. So looks like we're gonna be looking for a motion to close the meeting. Actually, wait a minute. We need to discuss the upcoming schedule, my bad. June 10th, 2025 is going to be our next meeting. It's going to be at 7 p.m., a regular meeting / hybrid at the DPW building. And then on June 24th, 2025, we'll be back to Zoom at 6 p.m. like this evening. And July 8th, 2025 will be 7 p.m. regular meeting at the DPW hybrid. And then July 29th, 2025, 6 p.m. Zoom meeting. So just a quick reminder there. And then without further ado, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I can make a motion to adjourn. Looks like Joe might have just dropped off, so we'll need a different second.
Well, luckily we have
I'll-
more members.
I'll second that motion.
All right, we have a motion that's been seconded. And we still have a quorum with missing person. This is very nice.
Yep.
Thank you all. Specifically Arthur and Dan. Great. So the motion's been made. We're going to do a vote. Scott Dahl,
Aye.
Arthur.
Aye.
And Dan.
Aye.
And I for myself. The meeting is closed. Thank you very much, Lunenburg. Have a great evening.